Hi, hello, I'm Sam Harrison. I read, review, and discuss fantasy and science fiction books. Today, I have a review for you of the first novella in the Sun Eater series, The Lesser Devil by Christopher Ruocchio. This is a non-spoiler review. However, I will be discussing plot elements from Empire of Silence. So if you have not read Empire of Silence, there might be some most of the major stuff I'm not going to spoil, but there are a couple of things that you kind of need to know in order to discuss the setup for The Lesser Devil. So if you have not read Empire of Silence, I would say don't watch this video. Go back and watch my Empire of Silence review, read the book, and then come back. Anyway, so the setup for The Lesser Devil is that this book is about Crispin Marlowe, who is the younger brother of Hadrian Marlowe, the protagonist of Empire of Silence. However, Crispin is not actually the younger brother anymore because Hadrian has spent 35 years in Fugue, which is the kind of like suspended animation that is used in the Sun Eater series to travel between planets. And so now Crispin is actually 50 years old, and Hadrian is still only in his 20s. Now, since Hadrian has disappeared in the first book, which is something that happens very early on, you don't find out that he's disappeared for 35 years until quite close to the end. But I did tell you should have read Empire of Silence before you watch this video. So, since Hadrian's disappearance, the government have given permission for Alistair Marlowe to have another child, and so they now have a daughter in their mid-20s whose name is Sabine. So the two kind of leads for this book, as it were, the book is entirely really from Crispin's point of view. However, Sabine is a very major character in the book. This book is really fantastic. So what happens is they're kind of going on this mission to go and see their grandmother before she dies, and Alistair tells Crispin that there is a distinct possibility that somebody will try and assassinate them while they're away from Devil's Rest and the protection of the Marlowe estate. And so Crispin's kind of got his back up. And then they actually, on their flight, the flight is attacked while traveling across the planet to go to the grandmother's. And what happens is they land in like a reservation for Catholics. So the religion in the world of the Sun Eater is that they worship the Earth, which has gone, I think, has like disappeared, and the Emperor of the Solan Empire. But the Emperor has these reservations around the galaxy of protected communities to preserve the old Earth religions. So there's like a village here of French Catholics. So they speak French, they're Catholics. And what happens is Crispin and Sabine are shot down by a mysterious antagonist who we're led to believe is one person, but who knows? You'll have to read the book to find out, or listen to the book on Audible as I did. The Audible narration is really good. Definitely would recommend. Anyway, so Crispin and Sabine crash land in this kind of reservation, and they then get help from the local Catholics in this small community. Captain Kyra, who was a kind of early love interest for Hadrian, is also in the book. And she's the pilot for the ship, and she's kind of taken on this motherly role with Sabine. And we've also got a few other minor characters who I feel like might become important down the line that I really liked. While we're on characters, let's talk characters properly. So Crispin, when I read Empire of Silence, I really wanted to spend more time with Crispin. I thought that the relationship that he and Hadrian had was really interesting, because he obviously is like very reverent of Hadrian. He feels real affection for him, and he, you know, really looks up to him as his older brother. But Hadrian almost despises Crispin because he's everything that Hadrian isn't in terms of Palatine. So, you know, he's big, he's muscular, he's strong, whereas Hadrian's more of a like thinky type. And Crispin is described by Hadrian as being cruel and aggressive. And I find that really interesting because when you're 15, you kind of are a little bit cruel. Like, teenagers are kind of awful. Like I'm not saying this as a blanket statement, but I am saying that a lot of teenagers are quite cruel, and, you know, it's hard to get around that. And when we meet back up with Crispin in this book, which I assume takes place concurrently with Empire of Silence, or at least the Borisovo sections of Empire of Silence, Crispin is now 50. He's much more mature. He's seeing inside his head, you get a lot more of his emotional state. You get how a lot of his outward kind of cruelty and bravado is actually that he feels in the shadow of Hadrian. And it's interesting that he still feels in the shadow of Hadrian, even though Hadrian has been gone for more than half of his life. And many people believe him to be dead. Crispin doesn't, by the way. Crispin thinks that he's still alive, but many people do actually think that Hadrian is fully dead. Now, well, sorry, I just got a notification, and I was not expecting it. Anyway, so you get a lot of time inside Crispin's head. With the whole book is kind of from his point of view. It's not like it's not like Sonny Ter's main series books where it's kind of I did this, I did that. It's Crispin did this, Crispin did that sort of thing. So it's third person, but all the chapters are from his point of view, even though they're third person. You see a lot of, like I said, spend a lot of time inside his head, and it's really, really fascinating. And I almost wish that Sonny Ter was like a multi-POV series instead of that single point of view, first person, and we were getting regular chapters of this, because I feel like that would have broken Empire of Silence up a little, where you kind of get stuck in sections of that book, if that makes sense, and then you don't you spend a lot of time doing one thing. Anyway, this isn't a review of Empire of Silence. Empire of Silence was a really weird book for me, where sometimes I thought it was a 3-star book, sometimes I thought it was a 5-star book. I ended up giving it 4 stars. I'm also giving The Lesser Devil 4 stars. It's really hard for a novella to get 5-star rating, even though I loved Lesser Devil, and I actually think I liked it more than Empire of Silence, which is weird because people often say Lesser Devil is one of the weakest things in the Sun Eater. It had so many elements I really liked. It had a lot of mysticism and the kind of interrogation of the religion of the Catholics, but also Crispin is quite devout when it comes to the Chantry and the Solan Empire's religion. And it's really interesting because Hadrian even says that he is a believer in the first book, and he's one of the only characters that's really firmly asserted to be very strong in the Solan faith. I don't know what's actually called. Is it I think it's the Solan faith, the Chantry? We'll find out. But Crispin's like a strong believer in it, and so he's coming up against these challenges to his belief from the Catholics, and also the challenges to the way that he sees society, in that his Palatine world is very much it's me. He even says specifically very early in the book that he's quite sure that his father would kill them both if it meant advancement for him, for Alistair. And so you get this, he's kind of coming into this Catholic society, which is much more of a group and community, whereas, you know, obviously the Palatines literally, you know, they would kill each other for 1 minute of advancement. So it's very, very interesting to see Crispin coming up against this entirely new philosophy and way of life. And it's quite interesting also to see the Catholics talk about the persecution that Christians received under the Romans, which comes up multiple times. And we know that the Palatine society is heavily Roman inspired. You know, look at the names of Palatines, patricians, etc. But I really enjoyed this book. So I don't know why I started that out randomly in the middle of nowhere, but I thought the plot was fantastic. I thought the themes were really, really strong, of this clash of faith and this crisis of faith, and Crispin kind of coming to terms and understanding who he is and his place in his society, his family, and this small community. And Crispin also rising to kind of be quite heroic in these circumstances in a way that we don't really see from Hadrian in his book. So I really, really want these characters to interact again, and I don't, because of the way the universe works with the fugue states and things like that, I feel like it would be very hard for these two characters to interact as they are now. So, you know, 20-year-old Hadrian and 50-year-old Crispin, but I guess we'll see. I would like to see what Hadrian makes of Sabine as well. So yeah, I really, really enjoyed this one. I feel like there was not a single minute of it where I was like, oh wow, I'd rather be hearing about Hadrian, or I would rather be reading my other book, which I'm currently reading, Prophet of Adan by Philip Chase, because it doesn't have an audio book. That's why I listened to Lesser Devil. So I listened to Lesser Devil while I was at the gym and while I was doing the weekly shopping and stuff. It's like 6 hours long as an audio book. I really, really enjoyed the audio experience. I think Samuel Ruocchio is a great narrator for this specific book. So yeah, I'd really recommend it. And actually, I don't know if I mentioned this earlier. I think I might have, but if you have an Audible membership, which is active, you can listen to The Lesser Devil for free, because it's in their Audible Plus catalogue. So definitely, if you've read Empire of Silence, I feel like you have no excuse. Like, it's definitely worth a listen. I didn't read the book at all. I only listened. So I have less to say about the prose and stuff because I don't take as much notice of that when I read it. But I will say, overall, I thought the novella was fantastic. Let's go into the pros and cons, which is something that I try and do in my reviews. So for the pros, I would say the character study on Crispin is excellent. It's great to see more from characters like Kyra and to get introduced to Sabine and to see more of the politics around Devil's Rest and Delos. Also, I really enjoyed the exploration of faith in this one, and kind of a look at how the old religions of Earth and the history of Earth and how it's kind of come across into the new Palatine Solid Empire. And finally, I really enjoyed the Catholic characters, the Christians that live in the community. So, cons. Very difficult. Oh, I forgot to say another pro is the antagonist is fantastic. Really, really liked them. I liked multiple aspects and interesting kind of sci-fi techie stuff that comes with them. Brilliant. Really, really liked it. The action is fantastic as well. It's like there's a big lot of action. For like half of this book is action, and it's well written and it's really engaging and fun to listen to. Cons. I almost wish this could have been a bit longer and maybe featured a bit more from characters like Sabine and Kyra. The book is excellent, and really my only complaint was that it was over too soon. But would it have been bad if it had been longer? Would it have been worse if it was longer? I really don't know. Audiobook narrator's excellent. If I'm struggling for a con, I might say that the cover isn't very good. But I feel like Crispin gets a full arc in this book. Maybe if we'd had more time, we could have had a character arc for some of the other characters as well. I'm really interested to see what happens with some of the characters from the Catholic community and whether we see them again. So yeah, all in all, excellent book. Really enjoyed it. Well, I say book, novella. It's still a book. If you're reading Sun Eater, I don't know yet if this is essential or not, because I've not read past Empire of Silence. I don't know if Crispin turns back up. However, if Crispin does turn up again, I would say that this is definitely something that you need to read. So, yeah, I think that's everything. Shortish video today, trying to keep my reviews, especially novella reviews, really, under 20 minutes. So one other thing I wanted to mention is, if you have listened all the way to the end now, I want to talk a little bit about this. So I am trialing for today's video a brand new microphone. So this is the microphone that I use when I do discussion videos. So it's what I've recorded my discussion video with Ross and Laura and with Andrew on. But what I wanted to do is test and see how well it works with my phone. So if you have enjoyed this video and you think the sound is appreciably better and is worth the extra hassle, please do let me know. I did think the sound was okay in my previous videos, to be honest. But yes, please let me know if you think the sound is better, and that will give me the impetus to continue to try and work up a proper setup for this. But anyway, thanks so much for watching today. If you have liked the video, please give it a like. As I said, if you have some comments on the sound quality, please drop those in the comments down below. I'd really love to hear what you guys think in terms of the sound. I'm hoping that the sound has not desynchronized, which I did have a problem with one time when I used an external microphone. So cross your fingers that I haven't just wasted 20 minutes. And of course, please do subscribe. January is always supposedly slow going for booktube subscriptions. However, I have felt our channel and our community has been growing really strongly at the same sort of level. So I'm, really thankful for you guys, and yeah, thankful for every single subscription. Every time that number goes up, I get a little bit of dopamine, and that makes me feel great. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, and I will speak to you tomorrow.